101. And, after last Friday, we thought we had this, the voting and town meeting all tidied up and figured out and how to do it and put away. But unfortunately, it seems we've hit a few glitches, even though we got advice from all our lawyers and everyone else. Seems like we have to look at it again to try to figure out the right way to do it. Judy was on the phone with the Attorney General's office this morning. Anyway.
Yeah, she just called me. I don't know if she's talked to any of you yet, but it looks like everything can happen on the card except the meeting delay will be delayed 2 weeks.
Okay, then.
Correct.
That's not
Possibly. That's not 100% yet. The only hiccup is going to be whether you can have your meeting on the 9th or the 23rd. Everything, your process can still happen as set, but we're waiting on a determination from the Attorney General's office and the Secretary of State's office, because it all comes down to just one word in the RSAs. But we're waiting to find out if we have to go 25 days from the vote or 25 days from your first public hearing. If they come back and tell us it's 25 days from the vote, you are fine. If they come back and tell us that it's 25 days from your first meeting, you are not fine, because they're going to consider your first meeting the 17th. And when we went out for bond counsel for our bond, because we are required to hire bond counsel, they are the ones that have questioned this. So now we're waiting on a ruling from Bud Fitch and the Secretary of State's office, Dave Scalen and Nick. And they should be back to us later this afternoon. If we have to move, if they rule that it's from the meeting and not the vote, and we would then have to move our election officers voting and town meeting to the 23rd, which we can do. The moderator has that right under Executive Order 83. You will then hold 2 additional public hearings I'm just throwing this out there because this is what I worked out with Bud Fitch and all of them. On the 9th, you would hold another public hearing. And on the 16th, you'd hold another public hearing to vote on the 23rd. So really, they would have 4 public hearings, because you're still going to keep, instead of confusing everybody, I don't think you should cancel your 17th and 24th in them.
I agree, because they're already out. It's already out there.
Right. So we're pretty much waiting on their ruling as to whether, and so if we move to the 23rd, you'll schedule 2 more public hearings for the people, which would give them more input. We were also questioned as to whether we could vote like we said we were going to vote, by absentee, by traditional, and by drive-through, because they thought it was only drive-through. I did receive the ruling today. We are absolutely right that they can vote the way we thought.
Good.
It's just that Bud wanted to get clarification on whether they were going to be determined the 25 days from your meeting or 25 days from the vote, because technically your vote does happen at the meeting. He's just not sure how they're going to rule on that.
Okay.
And it's so new to everybody. Like just this last night, Thursday at 5:03, they emailed me additional clarification on 11/29. So they say that that's going to be the last of it. I don't know. So this one ruling and you guys are good to go.
So if if it's the way we hope, nothing really has changed.
Right. I was really
Everything we
hoping,
sent out and let everybody know about is the same. So if it's not, then we have to have 2 more meetings and reschedule the election and the town meeting votes warrant articles to the 23rd.
right, right. Best case scenario, Bud Fitch is going to come back and say, the intention of that is to mean, your annual meeting is usually the vote. It just doesn't say the vote. And we're going to be fine. And everything can happen on the 9th. Worst case scenario, he's going to come back and say, no, we're going to say that it has to be 25 days from your first public hearing. And we're going to have to move everything, if you so choose, to the 23rd. And you still operate the same way. And I have Ken on
Which
here.
is good because, the fact that we're thinking about we might have to make it a public meeting to the school and everything was going to be a challenge. So I think this works out a lot better.
And Ken has some general concerns about that. If they were going to make us, and Ken, speak up if I'm speaking out of turn here. If they were going to make us be outside and everybody voting outside, we would try to accommodate if the school, I don't even know that the school is allowing that yet. I heard rumors that there was going to be a public hearing. We were first told no public was allowed in the school when we first reached out to them. And they weren't even letting anybody that was like class advisors or stuff like that into the school. You had to only be staff. So that's when we started making our decisions and checking with attorney generals and stuff on what we could do and not do. And then I had heard that they were having a public hearing, but I don't think it's actually been officially approved yet. So we would still be in limbo waiting for the school board to do that. And I have to move forward with my warrant, and that warrant has to have that one line. That first article has to be, do you approve of our, so it's contingent on what we're going to do. And if they haven't actually I don't know that they have permission from the school board yet. I'm not really sure.
I think we should just keep it the way we originally did it if we can.
Yep.
I think everybody feels safe. There's not a lot of complicated issues on this warrant anyway. I mean, the main thing is the possibility of buying the garage and selling the 2 pieces of property. And I think everybody should be able to look at that. We should be able to have those public hearings. Everybody should be able to look at all the facts and things that are going on and be able to make a real rational decision whether they want us to do it or not.
Right. And I think Ken had general concerns about that and prefers it to be this way. The other thing is, you get into, if you're moving into other towns, you are responsible for providing transportation and stuff like that. So there's a whole other group of things that comes that we would have to revisit to look at to be prepared to move to another, even though it's closer than probably our town hall, we are required to do that.
No, well, I think let's try to do what we originally did. But so can you go through the schedule for me, Judy, quickly, just so that I've got it in my brain again and we can,
So you want me to go through what schedule do you want me to go through? Sorry.
The preferable scenario that we've already got going.
Okay. If in a perfect world, Bud Fitch emails us and tells us we're okay.
Yep.
All right. On February 10th, we're going to have our bond hearing, our budget hearing, and our warrant article hearing, just like you always have done in the past. Then you're going to come back to a public hearing on February 17th to have a public hearing on your warrant articles to receive input, concerns, all of that. You're going to open those 2 up also so that people can email you guys, call you guys, however, to get their input.
Okay. Now, are they going to be able to, on the Zoom meeting, will they be able to join in on the Zoom meeting?
That's entirely up to you guys.
I think they should.
I do too. I think it should be run like a town meeting.
I do too.
And then for the people, and then if we can get that, you know, Cheryl gets that link worked out, or however you get it up to, in a perfect world, people would be able to review, you know, if they couldn't make the public hearing, could view that later.
They can watch
And
it on
still-
YouTube. Yep.
Right. And then they could still get you, you know, as long as they have their concerns and questions and all of that to you guys by the 17th. Then when you come back on the 17th and 24th, you should be, the 24th, in a perfect world, you should be presenting your finalized warrant to them. Like, this is what's going to be on the ballot for
So
the night.
17th, we talk about it. 24th, we might change some things. I mean,
Right.
the
No.
10th we talk, yeah, the 10th we talk about it. 17th, the next week we might change some things. On the 24th, it's pretty cut and dry. We're just going over the whole thing.
Right. But the key is you can let them have input on the 10th. You can let them have input on the 17th. And just know that when you come back from the 17th, the
We're pretty much
24th,
done.
you should be presenting your finalized warrant, what they're going to see to vote on.
Okay. Yeah.
And then,
And Ken, you'll be running these meetings?
I think that is the plan.
That's
Just,
a good plan.
I've never done it. I mean, depending on how many people show up, probably we were going to need somebody to be watching for hands, a second,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
a third person. But if people use the raise hand option, then we get a list at the top of the list of participants with the people's hands raised. At least that's what I've seen in the moderator meetings that we've had over the past year. And it's fairly easily to go on and say, okay, your mic is unmuted. Tom Jones, you go ahead. What is your question?
it might be a good question for the lawyer. I know the last time she attended, when we had that big meeting, she wanted us to turn our chat off. It might behoove us to ask if during a public hearing we could have that on, because we could be fielding questions that way, or retaining them to come back to the next meeting and answer.
Yeah. What would be nice if you could have the chat on, and so for some simple questions, we could just answer them as we go along instead of having, it might be just a 2-word answer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What
Just
the problem? A question I have. It's not a problem. What about the people who don't have internet access and are phoning in?
They would not see the chat.
But
Right. They would not have the chat function, but they could submit their questions later after the meeting to Judy somehow. We have to figure that out.
Yep.
Well, I think on the postcard, it says they can call the office and put questions in. They can email questions in. Any way they can mail questions in. They've got 2 weeks really to do that. So.
Yeah, the bottom of the postcard says, anyone with questions or concerns regarding the virtual town meeting format, contact admin Woodstock, NewHampshire.org, or call the town number 8752.
Yeah. Has anybody responded with questions on that postcard yet? Do we know?
No, we haven't received any input, and that was really why we kind of sent it, because if people were really, really against it, we wanted them to reach out to us. Neither Cheryl Barassa or I have received anything. We haven't heard a peep. So I'm not sure what the word is out there.
I think too, it's important that we educate people that the first question on the warrant that we have to put there is if they vote, they don't like this, then all the work for 5 or 6 weeks that everyone's put into this is going to be mute.
Right.
And then we'll have to wait till June to have an in-public meeting.
No, you don't get another meeting.
What?
You don't get another meeting. You have to petition the court.
Well, we'd have to petition the court to have an open town meeting at some point.
And if they don't approve it, you don't have a budget.
Your
You don't
SOL.
Yeah. The only thing that passes is your operating.
Right. So, I mean, we'll see. I don't think people will be unreasonable, but I think they got to understand what the question is, because the way it's worded, it sounds like I don't know.
And then
It's like
then at the end, everything is done by a written ballot, which is how people can best make their decisions known.
Actually, this gives more people the opportunity to vote that typically wouldn't have the chance to vote because so many people, they don't come out
Right, yep.
for town meeting. They only come out to vote for the officers or whatever. And I mean, maybe it just
Yeah,
gives,
if we get 100 people, that's a lot.
it's been less
Usually
and less every year.
Yeah, well, it depends on what's on the warrant too, but
It does.
70 to 80,
Last
basically.
year, I think we counted maybe 90. Was it, or was it the year before? I can't remember. I'd have to pull it out, but
I can't remember when was the last written ballot we did at a town meeting, where we were actually counting pieces of paper. That's really the only way to gauge or have somebody clicking people as they enter the door.
Can
And
can we use the machine for this?
I was just going to tell you that. Yes, we
Oh,
can have
thank
our
God.
ballots printed and they'll run through the machine just
Oh,
like
good.
everything else.
Oh, good. I just had visions of what Ken just said of us all sitting there till 2 o'clock in the morning,
No,
doing little hashtags and
That's
trying.
what we used to do.
Oh, I bet.
Well,
Just-
now it's much different because we use a sort and stack method of counting, which is really much faster and more accurate, extremely more accurate.
so
Okay.
As far as the special town meeting goes, I can remember one in the time I've been here.
Well, I don't
Yeah,
know if you'd have much choice if everything gets junked, but I mean that. Let's not deal with it unless we have to.
No.
So, but
and if we move everything, because I've only budgeted for one election, and if we were to split them up, I'm running 2 elections and I don't have that money in my budget, and the budget's been approved by the budget committee. So
no, believe me, I want it to pass. I'm just throwing it out there. We need to make sure people know what they're voting on.
Education.
yep. So if Bud comes back and tells me, I guess I'm looking for, because I have got to get my stuff finalized, my ballots out, my warrants. And so you guys definitely are going to stay the virtual way. Like that's a given.
Yep.
And if Bud comes back and says, we want to move it, are you guys okay with the 23rd? Is that?
I have no issue.
I'm fine with it. Yeah.
Because that week of the 16th and 17th, that's the school stuff. I think that's their school meeting. I'm pretty sure. So we don't want to be on that week.
Yeah. So let's do it on the 23rd if this thing falls apart, which I hope it doesn't. But
Yeah, I was really hoping to hear before 1, but I guess they are crazy busy down there with everybody trying to interpret all
I'm
these
sure.
rules. And
Thank
everybody,
goodness we're not Manchester or Nashville.
I know. Oh my God. Some of them are SB2 towns, so they operate on a whole different set of guidelines. If you're SB2, it's different than what they can do, different things and not different things than we can do.
Oh.
So they're SB2 when you get into those type of places.
Okay. No, that sounds good. I think we all are in agreement that we're going to proceed that way, right?
And I'll email you guys as soon as I hear. I'll forward Bud's email and so
then,
the bond counsel is kind of waiting because, she just wants some clarification on this. So as soon as we hear from Bud,
okay.
we'll go from there.
One thing, I don't know, somebody mentioned that we should probably talk about having a kind of a deadline for things to get put on the agenda for Selectmen's meetings. So it's kind of standard unless it's an emergency or something like that. What was the thought, like noon on Friday or?
That's what you guys have posted is noon on Friday.
Noon on Friday. Okay. So we're going to try not to take anything unless it's a real emergency after noon. So
Oh,
noon,
okay.
noon on Fridays, just so that otherwise, if you change it at the last minute, people think you're trying to sneak things in on our end. And then we don't want to change things at the have people coming in the afternoon and putting things on, that afternoon on Tuesday, putting things on the agenda that nobody else has a chance to see either. So it works all together. I think to have it by noon on Friday is probably the way to go. And if there's something that absolutely has to be taken up that night, we can do it under other business.
Okay, yeah, I think that's what we've been doing, and that's what we have advertised.
Okay.
I'll double check that though, just to be sure.
Yep.
Okay. Sounds good. Do you guys have anything you want on specific on your agenda for? I mean, you're good with it's not very much usually.
Should we put the toilet on there, or we can just agree to buy the
No,
toilet?
No.
Anyway.
Talk about for budget? No.
No,
That's already in maintenance building.
I know it is. I just thought I'd bring it up.
It's kind of essential.
It is an essential service. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But Bill,
All right, guys,
they're on the phone just to fill you in. To replace a police station toilet is going to be pricey. So it was just like, oh my gosh, but it has to be done. So,
But it's pricey because it's a remote flush, which is
It's the holding cell toilet.
right. And they don't make parts. They don't make parts for the one we had that we had in there anymore. They went to try to find, somebody that make parts on the, off
a gray market type
like that.
thing. Yeah.
They couldn't find anything, so we just got to replace it and bite the bullet and move on. So,
All right. Well, this has consumed my
Now
whole
your
week. So
now your only problem is going to be find a plumber who has time to do it.
Well, we've got one.
we've got.
More than happy, and he sent us an estimate. But
Yeah. He's not going to upcharge the toilet. He sent us the invoice of what he's paying for it, and he's just going to make money on the labor and stuff. So the toilet's $4,500, $5,000.
no, it's $5,600.
$5,600.
Ridiculous. It's stainless steel though.
Yeah, I'm glad. So
Squirts out perfume when you go.
Yes.
no,
but
Does it have the bidet seat?
It
No.
does.
who knows?
It has it even has a sink in it.
hey guys, TMI.
It also just through the workshop here, just talking about the we can put it on for Tuesday if we want. Been going back and forth about after we read that report about the well down in our well down in Woodstock that needs possibly a new pump. And Mike and I had been talking that we should probably just buy a new pump, put it in, and keep the old one as a spare. About $10,000, but out of the and it's in the there's money there for that. But rather than wait for it to break, just to fix it and keep the other one just in case we need it, or possibly get it rebuilt. So we've got a rebuilt one there. So
Yeah, it should be rebuilt. It's the bearings that happen to be the issue.
yeah, so then
You don't want. And yes, it's far off. It's not like it's going to happen tomorrow.
but it could.
At least if you had one in there, you could work at your, not necessarily your leisure, but take your time to get the other one, the bearings redone, because it is still operational now.
Right. The engineer said too, it's not like a stock item you could get. It may take a while to get one. It could take a few days or a week or two to get it. So my thought was you just put a new one in there to replace the old one, get the old one rebuilt if it's not going to be too much money. And that way you've always got a spare, so.
Sounds good.
So if everybody's okay with that, I think we should just do it. So,
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yep.
and again, that's not really a new item. It's just kind of a maintenance item just to talk about. So. Okay, next week, Judy doesn't want to be involved, but next Friday we thought we had Bobby Stoller But Judy's up to her neck with different things. We thought we'd have Bobby Stoller in and work on the building permit issue. Does that still sound good?
I'll listen in. No more projects until I get through this town meeting and budget.
Yeah, you've
And
made
town
that
report.
clear. You've made that clear.
Then I'm all yours, but I gotta get through the budget and town report and, yeah, and this nightmare that we have right now.
And I don't think we need you for this one, Judy. So I think we'll be good. So
All right, so our next official meeting will be next Wednesday on February 10th, where the public hearing for the proposed warrant articles and the town budget are going to take place at 5 o'clock.
all right, we should probably decide who's going to speak to each of the articles here, I guess, too, before we go.
Sure.
If Ken's wouldn't it be Ken that
No, you-
speaks to it as the moderator?
No,
No,
sorry.
I have to refer it to people on the budget committee or the town select board.
Right. So Ken kind of just keeps us in
Okay.
line.
As far as the
Right.
hearing goes, not necessarily the town meeting, but as far as the hearing goes, yes.
Right.
I'm just saying someone should probably do a presentation on how we're going to vote, what
Who's-
the warrant articles are, what the budget articles are. Someone else should do a presentation on the proposed building purchase and sales.
who wants to do the explaining of the first article? Well, I think it's actually article number 2 because you choose your officers. Then article number 2 is going to be, do you approve of the optional meeting procedures? Somebody should explain that.
I can do that.
Okay.
Right.
give-
I'll
I'll send-
get with you, Judy, and we'll write something up.
Okay, but for the next 3 weeks, we have a Zoom meeting at 5 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
for the entire town people. I'm just saying that this is coming stomping down the road very quickly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and next Tuesday, though, we're supposed to be talking, the first thing was about the proposed building purchase, right? So
Yeah,
we
you
should
got
be,
the bond hearing.
Selectmen's meeting.
no, at the bond hearing, right?
Oh, yes.
The bond, yes, you got your bond hearing.
That's on
You got a
Wednesday.
selectmen's meeting too, but yes.
On Tuesday, but the bond hearing, we should at least be prepared to have a slide, someone to share to their screen, show the
Absolutely.
prospective building, show the inside of the building, show the buildings we're trying to get rid of, to repurpose, and we should
Do you
be.
want to,
What?
Scott, do you want to speak to the buildings?
Oh, I'd love to.
Cheryl,
You-
okay, so you're gonna
You
speak
get
to,
me photos, and I'll get you a slideshow.
All right, that sounds good.
so Scott, you'll speak to the, I'll send you cheat sheets to the old firehouse, the public works garage.
Yep.
Cheryl, are you gonna speak to the multi-year leases for the community center because you're on that board or no? You have 3.
Yep.
You have the
Yep.
new capital reserve you guys brought forward, and then the 2 multi-year leases.
Now, as far as the capital reserve accounts, I don't know, should we just roll over those one at a time? Because they're the same things we do every year. I don't know if we need to explain every one of them.
No, I don't think so. I think you could just, well, unless there's new people attending that don't normally, they might have questions, but typically, I don't know how you guys want to do it, but usually the budget representative from the committee will speak to the budget and
Oh, good,
The-
Cheryl. That's you.
Is that me or is
Um,
that?
the
Okay.
noise ordinance came in by petition. Once I hear back and finalize this, I'm gonna put the warrant, and Janelle was nice enough to email it to me in Word, so I'll be able to put that up on the website when this goes out.
And I think going with the one that was petition's the way to go and let people have a choice. We had that one that we had prepared. Why put both on there to confuse things? So we'll
Right.
eliminate the one that we had done and use the one that was petitioned.
Yeah, and
think
it's
somebody-
very little alteration can happen with one that's submitted by petition, I believe.
Right.
Yeah, we can't alter it at all. Actually, the whole thing is going to print on the warrant. It's been through the lawyer, and she suggested that we put the whole ordinance under the article.
What did she have to say? We just put it to legal just to see what her comments were, not that we could change it or anything. What did she have to say?
She did not say give any input because it has to go as is.
Okay,
And the only input she gave was to put all of the verbiage in the article.
okay.
So the warrant will be very long, but it will just be. So does anybody who wants to say that was submitted by petition, and anybody? Or you just want to let it go?
Well, I may be the one to have to explain that.
Okay,
Sure.
Ken,
Yeah.
we'll put you there. And then Cheryl, you're the budget representative, so it looks like the rest are all.
Can you, also, I wanted Judy, I wanted to make sure that they get back to us with all those easements on the property. I want to be able to speak to those if I'm going to be doing the building on Tuesday. Because she was going to look for those.
It's been sent to a title search person.
Because we know the main easement is that the racetrack gets to use that 1 acre and has primary use of that on Saturdays. Otherwise, it's a shared use. But I guess there are a couple other easements in there. I think we should be able to, we should know what we're talking about when people ask about them.
Yep. I don't know that you'll have it by the 10th. Depends on the title person. Laura didn't, I sent you guys her email. She didn't seem, because she says they'll be existing as they are now. But she'll identify them, do the title search, which all comes with the bond anyways, the title search and that.
Yeah, because we want to, I don't think, it doesn't sound like they're significant except for the 1 acre that out of the 6 that needs to be reserved for parking for either our purpose or their purpose. So.
Right. Yep. As soon as I get that back, I'll get it to you. I can't guarantee it will be by the 10th though.
If it's not, we'll just have to say we have to wait till the next meeting. Okay. What else do we have?
Judy, did you say I'm speaking to all of the capital reserves as the budget liaison?
That's typically what I think used to happen with
Okay.
Jimmy, but it doesn't mean
Okay.
it has to happen.
Nope, that's fine.
These are the
Pretty
standard
straightforward.
ones. These are the standard ones that we vote on each year, right?
Exactly.
Putting in.
Yep.
I don't
We
think
just have one new
have any of
one.
the amounts changed or are they all similar?
Just water and sewer might have changed. I'd have to, fire went down. They're pretty
I'll do a
similar.
comparison. I'm gonna do a slide. I'll do a slide share anyways, probably. I think it'll be worth having them up on the screen so people can see them as you talk about them.
That's a great idea. Yeah. Can we do that with the warrant articles as well?
I think that's what you were talking about, weren't you?
I'll work
Or
on
no?
that. Yep, I'll work on that.
That'd be a lot cleaner way to do it. Then we can just slide through them, boom, 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 boom. And then people can see them and not have to figure it out. So,
Yep.
So what will you just share your screen through Zoom?
yeah.
Yeah,
Correct.
perfect.
And then Scott, you got some photos that you sent off to Bart
Yeah, and I
that you can
will,
send off to me.
I might try to get a few more photos today or tomorrow. Okay, and then get those to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Oh, we've hashed through this quite a bit. Anybody have anything else? Good meeting, though. I think we got a lot of stuff kind of organized, I think, where we're going to go.
Be nice if the state had come through sooner than later, but
I know. I mean, but it'll be a shame if we have
Well,
to.
hopefully
change
we'll be able to say. Right. Hopefully we'll have an answer for Tuesday's meeting. We have a selectmen's meeting this Tuesday, right?
I'm thinking we're gonna have an answer by the end. I thought
Yep.
I was gonna have it by 1 today. I was hoping, but
Yeah.
I would think by the end
But
of
we'll
today.
be able to announce it.
Yeah,
Yes. Oh,
We'll
God,
be able
yeah.
to announce it to the public Tuesday. Yep.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
okay. Guess we'll adjourn our workshop.
Awesome.
Sounds good. Thanks, everybody.
Sounds good.
All right. Good.
Thanks. Thanks
Bye.
for all your work on this, Judy.
Yeah,
My
thanks,
pleasure.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I gotta hit stop recording. Hold on.
Oh.